freedom in living. That's a topic, right? You can come forward. You can all come forward, no problem. You came there, no? To also, he also. Can I start, Vijay? Human beings are self-conscious people. Being a self-conscious person, he makes a certain judgment about himself or herself. Animals are self-conscious, but not self-conscious to the extent of making a judgment about themselves. They live their lives programmed or mechanically and pass their lives. A dog doesn't ask you to take it to a dog show. Nor a monkey goes and stands in front of an American consulate for a visa. Which means that they live their lives. They don't have to really do anything when they are on the road. The buffalo doesn't cover itself with a dress or something. The buffalo doesn't require a makeup or anything. It just is on the road there. They are self-conscious beings. They can identify their species. But they don't make a judgment about themselves. This human being, 3 people are standing there. I give this. One fellow is called by the name Ramu. Hey Ramu! He turns back, he responds. Another fellow is called Somu. He turns back. Monkey! All the 3 turn towards me. Why? I didn't call him, I only said monkey. Because he is self-conscious, who's made a self-judgment about himself. Without an inquiry, without knowing himself, he has made a judgment about himself that he is a limited person. That I am limited. This body, mind, sense complex is limited. As long as this body is there, I am there. As long as the mind is there, I exist. I exist here, I don't exist elsewhere. I am in one form, I am not in the other form. This is the judgment of a human being. He has concluded that he is limited. Therefore, there is a sense of limitation born of a certain judgment about himself. And this judgment itself is because of non-inquiry into the self. So he makes a conclusion. There is a sense of limitation. So he lives a life in order to be free from the sense of limitations. He wants freedom from this sense of limitation. He does not want to be limited. Therefore, there is always a seeking. I want to be this, I want to be that. I want to become one thing or another thing. I want to become a manager. I want to become the boss of the company. I want to become the prime minister. I want to rule the world. This is the life of becoming. He lives a life of seeking, a life of becoming, a wanting person. All born because of this sense of limitation that he had concluded upon himself. This is the basic human problem. There is no other problem, in fact. The only problem is this. This is the human problem. And so you need approval. You have to seek approval. That everybody should respect you. Everybody, you should be at the public gaze. Therefore, you put some facials, makeups and all those things when you go out. So that people will talk good about you, people will look at you, they will turn towards you. All born because of sense of limitation. This is the human problem. If this is the human problem, then for me to be free from this sense of limitation, for me to have a freedom in my living, what is that I need to do? What is the solution? We say, the root cause of the problem is ignorance of the self. Because you have got a mistaken identity, you have misidentified yourself with this body, mind, sense complex. Therefore, you have taken yourself to be limited, which means the problem was caused by ignorance of the self. The solution has to be knowledge. Knowledge of the self has to be the solution, because ignorance is opposed by knowledge, it is eradicated by knowledge. This is the solution. If ignorance of the self, if knowledge of the self is a solution, how do I gain this knowledge? How do I gain? I am not going to gain the knowledge of self by some study. We have various forms of knowledge. I cannot really gain this knowledge by direct perception, because the self is not available for me to be perceived. The perceiver happens to be the self. The perceiver can never be perceived. Therefore, direct perception is not the means. Direct perception gives me some knowledge, but here for self-knowledge it doesn't work. And then you have got inference. The inference, one-step inference. The inference here is, you are walking through, you are looking at the smoke on the mountain, and then you conclude that there is fire. It's one-step inference. The smoke you see, and then you conclude there is fire. So you gain the knowledge of fire by looking at the smoke. Because at your home in the kitchen, you have witnessed your mother cooking. When she was cooking, you saw smoke coming out of fire. Therefore, you know, the cause of smoke happens to be fire, because you've got the linga. You've already seen this before. You have not seen the self before. nor the self's properties or anything which is going to. Self does not have any attributes or properties for you to give you a feel of what it is to arrive at it by logic. So logic, the inference is ruled out. One-step inference or more than one-step inference is ruled out. The third means is gone. Or you are not going to arrive at the self by an example. You can gain knowledge by examples. I come to America, I see the Niagara Falls. I go back home to Rishikesh and I tell a fellow that I saw Niagara. That fellow has not seen Niagara Falls at all. He does not know what is Niagara. He is ignorant of it. Then I do give him some examples. Hey, the water before the fall takes place, the water runs there like it runs in an harki podi, in that ghat. That will be the force of water. The volume of water there is huge. So by some examples, I really make him understand how the fall will look like. You can do this with various animals. You go to a forest, you see a wildebeest or an antelope, and you can come and say, it looks like the wildebeest will look like a deer to the height of a deer. But then the horns will look like a cow. And then you can really make him have some knowledge about what the wildebeest you're talking about. This is also one means of knowledge. By examples, you make him understand. There is nothing like the self for me to give you an example. Therefore, this example also is ruled out in the knowledge of self. So direct perception is ruled out. Inference is gone. One-step inference, more than one-step inference, both of them are gone. Examples are ruled out. What more is left out for the self? Come on. I don't have any other means in this world for me to arrive at the self. The self has to be known, it is knowledge. And knowledge, any form of knowledge is only happening through these means there. You gain knowledge only by these 5 methods. All the 5 methods are ruled out here. Therefore, this fellow concludes that there is no self. Self is absent. You exist. Are you absent? If you are absent, why should I talk? I'll get up and go. I am not a fool. If you say you are absent, I need not talk to you. This, that you are existing, that is self-revealing to you. That means the self is not absent, it is present, very much present, all the time present. Therefore, it should have another means, a special means of knowledge. Though knowledge happens to be the means, this is a different kind of knowledge altogether. It is not going to be achieved by direct perception or inference or by examples or by absential knowledge. We say, Shastrameva Pramanam. There is no other way that you are going to stumble upon the self. Various people talk various things about the self. Close your eyes and ask the question, who am I? This fellow closes his eyes. And he is asking the question, who am I? Who am I? I did this in Tiruvannamalai. Who am I? Who am I? before asking this question, he had a judgment about himself. The judgment is that I am an idiot. That was his judgment. What will be the answer? Who am I? Who am I? Idiot. Idiot. That alone will be the answer. The answer to your question will be in keeping with your knowledge about yourself. Therefore, without knowing the self, how is that answer going to come? From what is going to give you this answer? Some inside sound will come. This fellow says, you will hear a sound in your stomach. And that sound is anakat sound. It's called anakat sound. Various contentions. And when it comes, recognize it as yourself. Better go to a doctor and check. Maybe you have some gastric problem. This is a sound. There is this only sound which I know is this sound. No other sound. Who is going to validate that sound? Suppose if that sound happens to be the self, how do you know that it is the sound of the self and not the gastric trouble? It is not going to make some music. I am Krishna, I am Rama from inside. This will not tell something, talk something sensible. Or you should sit under a tree and meditate, some white light will come. Who is going to validate this? One fellow says white light, another fellow says sound. Who is going to validate this? Have you seen the self before? No. Then how do you know it is white light? Who is going to validate it? We say, there needs to be a means of knowledge. And that means happens to be the scriptural knowledge. Therefore, the scriptures become the means for knowledge. If the scriptures becomes the means of knowledge, then why are you here, Swamiji? You have told me enough. I go to some bookstore here. Walmart has got some books? No. There are lots of books about the self. One book I will take it from the shelf and I will study by myself, Swamiji. You be in Rishikesh, teach your brahmacharis there. You have told us there are libraries here with Google search engines, because you have got internet in the library, I was told. So you can go and search self. There are going to be a lot of listings about the self. Read by yourself and come to understand the self. Why is a teacher required? Who are you? In between me and God, who are you, Swamiji? That is not going to work. Because the entire teaching has got a system, a methodology involved. The scriptures are going to say the self is bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. How are you going to reconcile this statement? You need to really understand the statement. At one place the scriptures will say the Atma is not revealed by any knowledge or words. It is beyond words. They use these words. At another place, it has to be known by knowledge. What is knowledge? Through the teaching of the teaching of the scriptures. What is that? Words. How are you going to reconcile these statements? Therefore, there is a methodology, a system in the tradition. The tradition holds the key. What worked for my teacher, by his teacher teaching him, the same methodology he applies on me. It worked for me. I use the same words, the same methodology to teach. It should work for you. That is the beaten track. That's how the entire tradition has gained this knowledge. There is no other way of gaining knowledge. If this is understood, what is that which the tradition is talking about, which the scriptures are talking about as the knowledge of the self, by which I can have a freedom from the sense of limitation, from all the sense of limitations. Because my pursuit is only to have this freedom. I want to be happy is my pursuit. In and through all my actions, what I search is only happiness. You are not searching God. What you search is only happiness. Why do you come to temple? You come to temple for the sake of Durga Devi here? You tell me. You come to temple for the sake of your happiness, correct? You want to be happy. That is why you come to temple. The Christians go to mosque because if they will be punished if they don't go to mosque. They will go to hell. That's what they say. We don't say this. If you don't come to church or if you don't come to the mosque, you will go to hell. One fellow told me, Swamiji, what? If you don't study the Quran, you will go to hell. All right. I'll go to hell, so okay. Swamiji, the hell is so difficult, so hard. Okay, let it be hard. I can make a heaven out of the hell. That's not a problem for me. No, Swamiji, it is hot. Hot means it's too hot. Yeah, I've been living in Chennai, I'm not in Vancouver. It's okay. Rishikesh and Chennai are all hot places. I can tolerate hell. It's okay. It's another place. No, Swamiji. Hot means it is incredibly hot. You will be roasted like anything. Okay, I will be roasted for some time and after that I am going to come back. No, it is eternal hell. Eh? If it is eternal hell, look at the teaching. That's why we don't talk like this. You should look into the fallacy of the teaching there. They say it is eternal hell. Eternity means it should not start in time. It should not begin in time. That is called eternal. How can you talk about eternity when it starts in time? Hell is eternal. Who is God? God is also eternal. Who came first? God came first or hell came first? No, God lives in heaven. Okay, God came first or heaven came first? Because for him, heaven also is eternal. Eternal means changeless, limitless. There can be only one limitless thing in this world, not two. This fellow says eternal. Eternal hell means how you will be in the hell. You go to hell and you sit. Because nothing can change there. Without batting the eyelid, you will sit there. And this fellow says, I asked him, where will you go, Pa? I will go to heaven. Okay, you will go to heaven for how long? That heaven also is eternal. Eternal heaven, he goes there and he will sit. What is the difference between eternal hell and eternal heaven? We don't talk the scriptures, our scriptures, we have thought about it. We don't say hell is eternal, heaven is eternal. We say everything is temporary. We don't have the system of giving you a citizenship at all. All that is there is only a single entry or a multiple entry. We don't give you a citizenship. Everything there is ephemeral. And there is a thinking, you go there and you can get married to those Ramba Urvashis and be a permanent resident of the heaven. No, Ramba Urvashis are also on a temporary visa. They'll come back. What are you going to do now? This is what we say. Therefore, the scriptural teaching here is that whatever you are doing in this life is for the sake of your happiness. All that you do, you just do an introspection of whatever action that you do right from the morning till evening. Every action that you do is only centered upon you, yourself, your happiness. That you are doing it for your son's sake or for mother's sake is all for yourself. Don't say that to me. I will say it is only for you, your happiness alone. You want to invoke your pleased self. Whatever invokes your pleased self, you keep acting according to it. That invoking the pleased self means that you love yourself. Correct? Which makes you happy. If whatever you are doing in your life is only this for the sake of this happiness of yourself, that you want to be happy, the teaching should be in keeping with that. What is that I need to do in order to be happy? I need to live happily here and now. I came to this world and this fellow says, you will have one more world. The world is called God's world after death. Therefore, you should live a life in order to go to God's world. What is this world? This is not God's world. This is the Jehovah fellow, the Jehovah conscious fellow. He says there is one God's world. God's world. We don't say that. Our teaching is here and now there is a struggle. Here and now there is a solution. This is our teaching. That is the beauty of our teaching. No other culture has got this. If here and now there is a solution to be happy, to gain this freedom from the sense of limitation while living, what is that? What is that freedom? What is that knowledge which is talked about by the scriptures? What is self in other words? I want to know the truth about myself. If you want to know the truth about yourself, well, you should first know what is the truth. Truth is something that which cannot be negated. Correct? Anything that is negated, you cannot call it as the truth. You say pot is the truth. I will say pot is nothing but clay. The touch of pot is touch of clay. Weight of pot is weight of clay. Pot was clay before, pot is clay, pot will go back to clay. At all the three periods of time, what is there is clay. You can't think of pot without thinking of its substance, clay. Pot is clay. You said pot is the truth, I negated it. If you say clay is the truth, I will negate it again. Clay will go to silica, silica will dissolve into molecules, atoms, energy, particles, it will keep going. This whole world I will reduce. If truth is that which cannot be negated, show me one thing in this world which cannot be negated. Come on. Everything here can be negated. You tell me one thing, I will negate it and show you. Nothing here. Swamiji, you have dismissed the whole world. That means there is no truth. There is no truth in the world. But then there is something called of truth. The physicist will go nuts when he hears this statement, when you say that there is something called the truth. Because according to the physicist, everything in this world can be reduced to matter. What are you talking, Swamiji? All that is here is only matter and molecules to me. For him it is particles, it is inert. We would say, well, truth is that which cannot be negated. Negate yourself, come on. One time negate yourself. All the way from India I have come here. Just negate yourself only once for me. You can't negate yourself. Because the negator happens to be you. The negator can never be negated. That means what cannot be negated happens to be the truth. When I said the self cannot be negated, which happens to be the truth of me. If that is true, what is that self? Really, is this self not negated? Is it there with me all the time, in all the 3 periods of time? Yes. In the waking state, look at this. Fasten your seat belts. I want you to be alert here. In the waking state, you visualize a world. You perceive a world which is there in front of you, which is tangible to you. Whatever you perceive is not you, because the perceiver happens to be different from what is perceived. And you are the witness of this entire world in the waking state. I have already negated everything in this world. This fellow still says that, Swamiji, the self cannot be negated, I understood. And myself happens to be this body, mind, sense complex. That is the notion that you had in you. Before the wake of this knowledge, what you have about yourself is this, that this self is the body, mind, sense complex. In the waking state, what I visualize here, I don't visualize it in the dream state. I go to dream. I have a different world there in front of me. The world that is there in the waking state is not there in the dream. A different time-space reality there. The duration is different. That is why you say that I will go to sleep for 5 minutes in the dream. You wake up, the time is already 8:30 in the morning. The time is different, the space is different. The entire dream world is different from this waking world. And in the dream world, you don't have this set of sense organs and this set of physical body. You interact with the world there. In the dream world, there is a tiger which is chasing you. You are fighting with a tiger and you scream. There are bloodsheds in your body which you can visualize in the dream. You get up. Do you have any pugs or marks of the tiger here on your body? That shows that you were there in the dream with a different body and different mind. The different body and a different set of sense organs. This fellow wears glasses in the waking state. You don't go to sleep with your glasses so that you can visualize your dream well, very nicely. Which shows that the sense organs in the dream are also different. Your body is negated. What is negated is not the truth. Sense organs are negated, not my truth. Swamiji, what about the mind? Waking state, I had a mind. The same mind is present in the dream state because the dream is only a projection of the mind. Therefore, there is a mind which is present. When you go to deep sleep means dreamless sleep. There is no mind either. Because the mind also gets into an unmanifest form. It gets into a dormant state. The mind is also not there. But the one who was the witness consciousness of the waking world, that witness consciousness who was very much there during the waker, in the waking state, is the same witness consciousness present in the dream. Because the entire dream is a recollection of the waking state. The knowledge from the dream is nothing but the knowledge of this world. Which means that this waker who was present in the waking state when he goes to sleep, that means it's a recollection when I said the one who had visualized this dream, the one who had witnessed this waking world, that fellow alone can throw out the projection. Correct? It should be the same fellow. You come to this mandir 10 years before you had come to this place. You say that there was no Durga Mandir. There was a hall here, probably a marriage hall. I don't know what it was, but I'm just telling you, it's a marriage hall. And after 10 years you come now. You tell Swamiji, this hall has changed. How did you say that? The one who witnessed the hall 10 years ago, that fellow has to be now for you to say the hall has changed, correct? The witnesser has to be the same. It's the same thing here. The one who has witnessed the waking state. That fellow, when he goes, who was present in the waking state, to whom this world was there, in front of him. To that fellow, when I say the world, whole dream world, the dream Jagat is just a manifestation of his mind. He has to be the same witness consciousness in order to throw the projections, correct? Otherwise there cannot be any projection there. The knowledge that he gained there, he cannot recognize it in the dream. You can't think of a mountain in the dream. You think of a mountain, the mountain is there in the dream. Which means the witness consciousness who was visualizing the mountain in the physical, in the waking state, that fellow has to be the same witness consciousness who is present in the dream state. And when you go to deep sleep state also, when there is no dream, when there is no mind either, you say, I slept well. How did you say that you slept well? Because you were that witness consciousness who is witnessing the absence of mind was there to say, to mark the absence of everything in that deep sleep state. There should have been someone who marks the absence, to whom the absence is evident, correct? That witness consciousness is uniformly present, is present in all the three states of experience. Whether the body is, this physical body was there or not, the witness consciousness was there. The sense organs, these sense organs existed or not, the witness consciousness was there. The mind was there or not, the witness consciousness was there. The body is known to me. Known to whom? To the one who witnesses this body. The mind is known to me, to the one who witnesses it. That witness consciousness is the one which is the truth of all the three states of experience. That witness consciousness happens to be invariably present, not being negated. Therefore happens to be the truth, myself. Okay. Let him be myself. What do I get out of Swamiji? I should get something. All of us want something in life. I was searching for happiness. You are talking about witness consciousness. What is the connection? What I want is happiness. And you say some witness consciousness. Who cares about witness consciousness? What does it help me? What is the connection? Talk something about happiness and freedom. Look at this. The witness consciousness which was invariably present. Be alert here. The witness consciousness who was invariably present in all the three states of experience. Witnessing all the changes in the waking state, in the dream state, as well as in the deep sleep state. This witness consciousness was the one who was invariably present, witnessing every change happening. Correct? The change in my body, the change in my mind, the change in the physical world, everything was known to me. For me to know or mark or register a change, what should I be? Only to a changeless thing, all changes get registered, correct? If I have to know a change, I need to be in what standpoint? I should be in a changeless standpoint for me to mark all the changes. If I have to be in a changeless standpoint means this witness consciousness happens to be changeless. Because he marks all the changes. Therefore, he needs to be in a changeless standpoint in order to mark all the changes. Mark means in order to register all the changes. I am changeless. If I am changeless, I should be formless. Because all that, whatever changes is subject to a form. Any object you give me, it is subject to deformation, correct? A mountain was a rock now. It's called a rock now. Millions of years or thousands of years ago, it was a mountain. It underwent deformation. Now it became a rock. Anything in this blessed creation which has got a form will undergo a change. That means what does not have a form, whatever that doesn't change, is not subject to a form. If what doesn't change is not subject to form, it is formless. This witness consciousness is formless. If that is so, what is formless, you cannot mark a dimension, correct? Can you give a dimension for a formless thing? Swamiji, it is 13 meters long, 14 meters width. 2 meters in height. Can you say this? That means it has got a form. Whatever is formless is not subject to dimension. If this witness consciousness existence, pure existence is formless, if your self is formless, where are you now? In this body? In this room? You are there all, everywhere, all pervading. If you are all pervading, what was your seeking before? My seeking was that I am subject to this limitation. That I am here, I am not there. I am in this form, I am not in another form. Hey, you are everywhere when I say all forms are in you. Space is not inside this hall or inside a room. All rooms, all walls, all objects are in space. It's only from a standpoint you call it as part space, room space and all. What is there is only one space. All the objects, there is nothing inside space. In fact, everything is, space is not inside anything. In fact, everything is inside space. If this is so, when I say yourself is formless, means that you have got to be everywhere. Your sense of limitation, what you had was an error because which is born out of ignorance. You are already there everywhere, limitless. You are not subject to time-wise limitation or space-wise limitation. You don't have this limitation at all. You thought that you were limited. That notion was an error. If this is known, this is the knowledge about yourself. If this is known to be the truth of yourself, then now tell me, if you are already present everywhere, what is that you have to achieve now? I don't have to achieve anything. Because you are limitless, infinite. Infinity minus 1 is infinity, infinity plus 1 is infinity. It cannot be improved or decreased. You cannot improve anything more on the infinite object. It is already infinite. When I say it is Purna, you are the whole. That is the teaching of the scriptures. When I say you are the whole, God is included in it. Entire world of creation, all the objects are included in it. Everything is included. When I say infinity, you cannot say I am one infinite, God is another infinite. You cannot say. There cannot be two infinities. What is there? Is just one Ishvara here. All that is here is only Ishvara. There is nothing other than Ishvara. Open your eyes, it is God. Close your eyes, it is God. That is the vision of the scriptures. And this God, you have to recognize it as yourself. Because my seeking is that I want to be God always. That is my seeking. Otherwise, no amount of achievement is going to satisfy you. Even you be the president of America, you will be no see to rule the whole world. You want to rule Mars. You will have a bushy thinking. You will not be contented with what you are. Because there is always going to be someone or something which is better than you. That means there is going to be a seeking. If the seeking has to stop, that seeking alone is what we call as sorrow and problems and all these things. If the seeking has to stop, I would say, you have to know that you are God. If you have known this, if you have known yourself to be God, the seeking stops. This is what you wanted to be. You always had the question, where is God? Who is God? Why did He create me here? He could have asked me before putting me here, I would have given Him a better place. He is in heaven, I am in the earth. Why? Why He created me to this parents? Why He did not put me to another parents? Why I was born here? All these questions will never get resolved until you know yourself as God. This is the teaching. Your essential nature is nothing but God. If all that is here is God, when I say all that is here, all includes you. If all that is here is God, and you are God, you are that God. Now tell me, what is that you need to do more for you to be contented and happy and satisfied? You don't have to do anything. You are already free. You are already a happy Purusha. You are already whole. You are the whole. You don't know that you were the whole before. That was the problem. You didn't know this. On wake of knowledge, the sense of limitation disappears. This is what we seek in life. Is that happiness, is that freedom. Freedom from the sense of limitation. And what we accomplish is to know that after the study of scriptures, what I come to know is that I am already free. I am already free is the teaching. You thought that you are bound, you are limited. And you went by that thought. The error was corrected. In fact, for a problemless problem, for a problem which does not exist, the Shastra tries to give an answer. The truth is that you are the whole. Even during ignorance, you are the whole. After knowledge, you are the whole. At all points of time, you are the whole. When you are already the whole, you took yourself to be limited. It is like the cat saying that I am the like the cat, it told me, I am the dog. I am dog, I am not cat. What will you do to this cat? This is what it is. This is the teaching. That you are the whole. What is whole is what we call as freedom. Because through freedom, what you seek is this wholeness alone. That's why we say, I want to be free. Why? You ask anybody, this ladies generally. Ladies' freedom. Then teachers' freedom. Nation's freedom. Every freedom is said. Freedom means it reduces down to happiness. You are the source of happiness. The problem is you. The solution is also you. This is the teaching of the Hindu religion. The entire Hindu religion is committed to give you this vision alone. But gaining this vision is not an easy accomplishment, for which you need to have a certain disposition of mind. That disposition or the mastery of the mind can only be brought about by various disciplines in the form of rituals, verbal disciplines, ritual disciplines, prayers, worships, meditations, yoga. These things alone can bring the disposition of mind that is required. That is the infrastructure, the readiness that is required to absorb this knowledge. That is why worship of temple, these kind of satsangs, all these things are very important. Even when there are few people, 10 to 15 people in Canada, I don't mind teaching them, because I want all of them. This 15 I know one day will grow into a bigger crowd. Everybody should know this, should get this knowledge. That is the reason that I am here. Otherwise, what sense it makes me to be here? There is no other purpose for me. Everybody should know this, wherever you are. While performing your actions, there is freedom. You can do an action, you need not do an action, you can do it differently. There is a freedom there. But the ultimate freedom lies in understanding yourself. Once you have understood yourself as not the body, mind, sense complex, as not any relationships in this world. Any relationship is only for this body, mind, sense complex. We saw this in the Bhajagovindam. There the body is given birth. Only the mother gives birth only to this body. Once you understand that you are the self and not the body, mind, sense complex, then you will know that whatever roles that you play in your daily living, you play various roles. You are a father, you are a son, you are an employee, you are a teacher, you are a student. All these roles are just roles. The role is me, I am not the role. Each role is me. The actor plays the role of the beggar. The beggar, of course, is the actor in the movie, but the actor knows that he is not the beggar really, because he knows by playing this role of begging, I am only going to become richer by a crore or by a million. This space, this freedom will definitely be there when you play a role. In every role that you play, in every action that you play, if you really want to have that freedom, that space, that inner space between the role and the person, I would say it can happen only by the discovery of the self. Otherwise, you will always take yourself to be the body, mind, sense complex and take the roles to be true. Take relationships to be true, And when the world kicks all the roles, when the relationships get strained, there will always be struggle, sorrow, complaints, murmurs. If you really need to have a space in your relationship, the ultimate freedom lies in the understanding of yourself. Thank you. I